So today we're going to be talking about our MBA in general, because we actually have two formats of the MBA. And some students really know from the beginning they want a full-time MBA. Some students want a global online MBA. They don't want to come to MSM, and some are not sure. And so today we're going to be looking at that. We're going to look, okay, if you're not sure, what are the differences? What are the similarities? What are the advantages of each? But if you are interested just in the full-time or just in the online, there'll be some information for you today. However, we'll be doing additional webinars in the future focusing on each of these formats specifically as well. So today's sort of like an introduction into the world of MSM MBAs, if you want to call it that. And then, we'll be doing some upcoming webinars to go further into that. Now, let me introduce myself. Well, firstly, the part of the topics today, as I mentioned, it's going to be about that. It's going to look at the difference between the programs. It's going to look at a bit about why it's actually even worthwhile looking at an MBA, how the MBA is going to help you be more interesting for the market. And then we're going to give you some practical information. So regarding the general information, so my name is Hermina. I am the manager of the enrollment team at Maastricht School of Management, which means we are the team that actually manages all the non-academic things. So we start from the first time the students are in contact with MSM via recruitment, all the way through to when they graduate at MSM and they become alumni. That all falls part of my department. But I also studied at MSM. I did my executive MBA at MSM when we still had an executive MBA. And so, I also have some insight into the program. And today also with me is Alina. Alina, maybe you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Hermina. Hi, everyone. Very nice to see you all here. Today, I will give you a bit more insight about the Global Flex Online MBA, mainly because I'm the recruiter for the online MBA, but also I have decided to practice what I preach and join the program. And I'm also a student, so we will dive in a bit about all the practicalities when it comes to this program. And just one quick mention from my side. If you have any questions today, it's good to use the Q&A chat and not the normal chat, so we can keep track of it and we make sure we cover everyone's questions. Enjoy the session today.
Thank you very much, Alina. So regarding that, today during the session, Vessel is also online, and Vessel, we are managing the chat as much as possible with Alina as well. So please, any questions you have, just put them down there in the Q&A part, because we will be going through this quite fast. We do have to cover quite a lot. So if there was anything that wasn't clear, or if you joined a bit late and you're scared you might have missed it, don't hesitate to put your questions in the Q&A. As they say, there are no stupid questions, just stupid answers. So let's start with the why MSM. Obviously, that's the first thing there. If you are looking at an MBA, why choose us? Once again, it's not going to be the main focus of today, but I do want to highlight a few things. So we are part of the University of Maastricht, which means you're going to get the best of both worlds, because the University of Maastricht is actually recognized as one of the top 10 young universities in the whole world, which means that you're getting a very fresh, modern approach to education, open-minded, fast-paced. And on top of that, the university has the Triple Crown accreditation. Now, before I started working in education, I had no idea what Triple Crown was, but it basically is 3 accreditation boards that review the quality of the university and the business schools. And it only awards this, well, you get each accreditation gets awarded if you adhere to the best and top standards of quality of education. And at MSM, we have the Triple Crown. That means that only 1% of all business schools actually have this accreditation combination, that the 3 best accreditations have recognized the standard of education at MSM. Now, the University of Maastricht is a very modern campus where we are situated. It's a really beautiful, lot of green parks and nature, but then with a very top level, top tier standard of the actual facilities. Students also have access to everything that you can imagine at a big university, so that's also very nice. But then at the same time, if you look at MSM specifically, we are actually one of the oldest business schools in the Netherlands, the second oldest one. And we started existing in 1952. So we have more than 70 years of experience only focusing on business and management. So we don't have 1,000 bachelor degrees going into a whole lot of different things. We only do MBA, Master in Management, and then short programs, once again, focusing on business and management. So once again, we have all the benefits of the university, but what makes us a bit more unique is how extremely international our student profile is, and I'll talk a little bit about that in one of the slides later on. And we really have MSM's, from its origins, its DNA is already focused on sustainability, making an impact, better global management for everyone. And so that's something that will set us apart from a lot of the other business schools. But we also have a very hands-on learning approach, which also leads to a personalized learning experience. We always like to say at MSM, because of the small classes, because of this hands-on approach, you're not just a number. We actually know each and every student, and we work together with them in an individualized, personalized way. Additionally, obviously, from a rankings perspective, it's good to know that the online MBA has been ranked as one of the best top 5 in the world, the MBA in the top 10 in Europe. And recently, we were actually very, very proud that we got recognized as being one of the top 3 MBA programs in the world for sustainability. So the Better World MBA ranking is really looking at sustainability. So that's a lot about the rankings. Once again, if you've got any questions, you can contact us, but let's dive in and get to the bottom, get to the start of the actual webinar today. So like I said, I wanted to first, before we go into the MBA of MSM, I wanted to quickly highlight a little bit about the Dutch market. So because I do know that one of the reasons why people do an MBA is this hope of getting a better job afterwards. And here in the Netherlands, the good news is that the job market is still looking quite good. So you can see there's very little unemployment, and there are still more people, still more jobs available than people. Especially for the people looking for a full-time MBA, this is always very reassuring. But either way, if you're doing a full-time MBA or the Global Flex Online MBA, it's very important to up your skills. And that's one of the other reasons people actually do an MBA. It's to get additional hard skills, the specific knowledge in an area that you might be missing, but also to develop soft skills. And the soft skills, it's what's actually going to be able to help you grow in your career even further. And so at the MSM, we actually focus quite a lot on that, so that you can be interesting for companies. And so we look at what the companies want. We regularly review how the market trends are changing. And we try to make sure that we stay on top of this by providing the challenges students would need to be able to develop their creative thinking during the MBA or their analytical thinking. There's a lot of focus on being more digital, using AI in the programs, learning how to use AI in a ethical manner as well. And so these are the type of skills that we are really constantly developing and encouraging within the MBA, so that after your MBA and even during your MBA, you are actually using your skills to improve your environment in one way or another. So that's just something I wanted to highlight. And then another thing, just out of interest's sake, is that obviously we do know the soft skills are going to be changing, and the needs of this world is changing. We know that we need to adapt. to after this post-COVID, how everything has transitioned so quickly into online, how ChatGPT has completely already changed the environment we're living in. And so just some fun facts to make you think a little bit if you are still hesitating on whether an MBA in general is something worthwhile. It's already stated, the World Economic Forum actually did a study that students starting primary education today, 65% of them will actually be working in jobs that don't exist yet. Now, my son is 9 years old, and I find that a pretty crazy idea to think that he'll be doing something that just doesn't exist yet. And then also in that same sense, that a lot of these jobs, a lot of the work, it will be done by machines. And so they've noticed there's a trend, like a contradictory trend regarding the future of jobs. There will be an increase in computers and machines doing some things, but you'll still need humans to make sure the machines are working. This is what they currently expect. And because of that, there's a certain focus on development of jobs that only humans will be able to do. And so because of that, they came to the conclusion, or at the moment, this is what they believe most, is that the jobs that will become more important thanks to this changing of the landscape are the jobs in sales and marketing, education and trainings, and then business and financial management. So that's once again where the MBA becomes very useful. And also engineering. And now engineering is one of those things that's quite useful because a lot of MBA students actually are engineers. Or IT, or people that have the hard skills but are actually lacking the leadership and soft skill that was not covered during their studies. And so that's where those type of skills will be able to help as well for the future, to future-proof your career. But once again, that's something we normally talk about in much more depth in a separate webinar. Today, I just wanted to quickly highlight this as an introduction, but now I really want to jump into the actual MBA program setup. And once again, if there are any questions, don't hesitate. As I mentioned, we are going quite fast. So if you've got any questions, you can post it in the Q&A. So the first thing I wanted to say is that for the two MSM MBA formats, the similarities. Let's compare the apples with the apples. So the first thing is that we use the same curriculum for both programs. Because of that, that provides us with a lot of flexibility. So say now you do the full-time MBA, but you do have some issues. We had that last year, for example, a student couldn't carry on because she had to go back home due to personal issues, while she was able to switch over and carry on with the online MBA. Same thing if you do the online MBA and you would want to join the class for the full-time MBA, this is something that you could do if you want to, because it is the same curriculum. With both MBA formats, we also keep the class sizes small. We want to have that interaction with the students, between the students and the professors, with the company visits, the guest lectures, the interactive classworks. So the group works also online. There are group works. Alina will explain more how that works. But once again, we do that so the class, so you really get that networking and interactiveness that people really would want from an MBA experience. We also have a specialization phase, which we will talk about briefly, but that is also the same specializations available and the same thesis options. And then the way our teachers work and the profile of the students, how international our students are, that is also something that you will find in both our MBA formats. So what are the differences? Just quickly before I go into depth about the differences and the similarities, I just thought this little picture will explain it a bit better. So when you've got the MSM MBA, like I said, same curriculum for both, and you're hesitating between the two, it's good to know that the full-time MBA, you come to MSM in Maastricht, this beautiful campus here, for 1 year. It starts end of September, and you graduate end of September the year thereafter. So it's a 1 year, very intense, full-time, on-campus program. The part-time MBA is 2 years. I say minimum 2 years because you could finish it all within 24 months if you do your thesis at the same time. However, if you want more time, you can also do your thesis after you finished all your classes. So then it would be 24 months plus the amount of time you work on your thesis. So it's the online version, and basically you get to choose. It's 100% online, or you can choose to do part of it at MSM, the specialization phase. Now, the 100% online, it's also not self-paced. It is Zoom-based. And once again, Alina will explain that in more detail, but basically twice a week, you come online and you have real classes with a real professor and your real classmates, and you connect with them for those 2 years. So that's how the difference looks. And once again, we'll go into more detail per each program very soon. Regarding the curriculum, like I mentioned, they are the same for both. And I just wanted to highlight some of the courses that we do, because obviously you have your typical MBA courses like your finance and accounting and your economics. You will see that everywhere. But some of the things that we like to focus on, which also shows what our key areas are of specialization, is the digital transformation, which is so important, as I mentioned, for the future of working, entrepreneurship, within the company to just be more creative, but also with an exterior if you want to start your own company. Decision-making tools is using big data to really know how to also objectively make the best decisions for your company. And you've got managing cultural diversity, which in this world where we talk about a global village is becoming increasingly important. And then obviously CSR to do with the sustainable development and ethics. It's something that we also focus on during the year, but also as a course. And so that's also why you can see the key pillars of our MBA is actually focusing on that sustainable development, that entrepreneurship and innovation, and then that technological revolution that we're experiencing at the moment. Now, we've talked a little bit about the summer school. So that's the specialization phase. So once you've done everything of the core courses that I showed on the previous slide, you actually get to choose a specialization. Now, the specialization is one of these topics. I have to mention here that if you do the online MBA, there's only one choice to do online specialization, and that is a sustainable business in the global economy. So if you want to do everything online for your online MBA, then that's the choice you would do for your specialization phase. However, all the other specializations are done on campus. And this is actually something we really recommend, even for the students doing the online MBA, is to come to Maastricht for that specialization phase. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks of very intense courses. It's weekends included. And you will go really deep into one of these topics. So say now you choose the digital economy, you will go into it deeper into this topic specifically by doing 2 additional 6-credit courses on this topic, which is so 12 credits in total for specialization out of the 70 credits for the MBA. So you see how big this part of the phase of your studies are. And it's also a nice way to finally meet your classmates in person. Obviously, the full-time MBA students get to meet the online MBA students, but we also have our partner schools from all over the world that send their MBA students to come do this summer school. So we often have about 150 to 200 MBA students at that moment doing the various specializations on campus at Maastricht. And it happens every year in June. The dates differ slightly, obviously, but then we also let you know when it's going to take place so that you can already block it in your calendar so that if you're doing the online MBA, you can already work towards that, make sure that you've got enough leave and financially that you can plan it in to be able to come to Maastricht if you want to do the on-campus experience. And then we get the thesis. And for the thesis, which is also a big part of your MBA, you get 3 options. And you will get your typical academic research paper or your business consulting project or a business plan. So 2 out of the 3 are very hands-on. The academic research paper is your typical normal research paper that you would do as a thesis for an MBA. But the consulting project is for a company on a specific issue, and a business plan is really your own idea for developing a business that you can work out in a thesis format. So that is what your MBA also will offer you, is this hands-on opportunity to get more experience and knowledge as a consultant or as a potential entrepreneur. Now, I have mentioned the diversity of the program. And this is really something that's for all our programs that's really valid. We have students coming from all over the world, literally from countries that I had to Google before I started working that I didn't even know existed. So we're constantly enjoying the diversity of the students here at MSM. But it's not just about this enjoyment, it's actually about the advantages that it has in being such a global classroom. Firstly, it's going to provide you with new perspectives, realizing, oh, wow, okay, so that's how it's done in your country. Oh, interesting. And another thing that really has developed quite a lot is obviously the networking. But through the networking, we've actually had quite a few times that students started companies together. Because they've realized that they had similar interests, and with their views from their different countries, they were able to actually create something very unique. So this is something that's a huge advantage in the program. And then, as mentioned, for our teaching, we really have a hands-on learning approach, and we do this through case-based studies and assignments that are really that you can use for your everyday life. If you're doing the online MBA, it's often related to your work environment. The topics are something that you'll be discussing that's happening at the moment, a lot of group discussions. And then if you do the full-time MBA, on top of that, you will have either the company visits or a guest lecture or a simulation game. So it's not just these cases, but it's actually this active learning as well. And then for the online MBA students, there's these weekly discussions, these presentations that you do, and then assignments that you have to update. And then our professors, what can I say? They come from all around the world and they teach around the world. So our professors are very international, both in where they come from, but also where they teach, which means they also have that experience of knowing how it is in other countries and being able to bring that knowledge into the classroom as well. But they're also obviously experts in their fields and they are very approachable. So our professors also have a very good combination of work experience and academic knowledge so that they can also teach you in a very hands-on manner during the classes. Okay, let's focus a little bit just on the full-time MBA, and then Alina will explain to you a little bit more about the online MBA. So the full-time MBA we actually like to call the pressure cooker. The pressure cooker because, as we mentioned, it's one crazy, intense, but hopefully very wonderful year at MSM. How does the cycle work? Basically, you need to think each course takes 2 weeks. So let's take marketing, for example. You would have 1 week of marketing class, actually in class, where you come to class 9 to 5. And in the second week, you take that, you work on your group assignments and your individual assignments, which you then submit at the end of that second week, so that you can then move on to the next course, say in our supply chain. And once again, 2 weeks, 1 week of in class, 9 to 5 every day. And then the second week of that class, you work on the assignments and your group works. Now, throughout the year, you will also have your career services, workshops, mentorship program, the social activities, student competitions, and that also happens often in the weeks that you don't officially have class, but it also, there's a whole calendar for that we inform students about in the beginning of the year. Now, for the assignments, we actually have moved away from exams. And so the students can do an individual assignment per course. In fact, they have to. So every course, you will have to do an individual assignment. And it's once again, using the knowledge that you've learned to putting it into a relevant experience. So the individual assignment is about making sense for you. It's often also a way where I explain to people where you can actually go into your field of interest a little bit deeper. So throughout the year, not only are you learning your MBA knowledge, but you're also going deeper into your own field of interest or maybe your future field of interest. To give an example, we have quite a lot of students that are looking to change slightly the career direction, and then they often use the assignments to look deeper into the field they're interested in transitioning into, so that when they have to do the assignments, they use that as a basis to go to gain further knowledge in that field. And then very often there are group assignments as well, and that's often linked to what you've experienced during the week, or a company visit or a case study. And so you also have to learn to work as a group, the cultural communication, all of that takes place. Exams only on very rare occasions. It does happen, but it's more of an exception, and it's only on 1 or 2 specific courses. So for the rest, everything is assignment based. And as I mentioned, for the assignments, you need to see yourself as, using this application of theory to go deeper into the knowledge that you've developed during the week. And if you are doing the online MBA, you can see yourself as an internal consultant for your company, because you can use that to really go into the knowledge for your company. For the full-time MBA, what you also get extra is an innovation week. So there's a week where you will learn about agile planning and service design. And then the mentorship program, it's a voluntary program, but you get paired with local business partners here. In fact, we've got a kickoff tonight for the new program. And then these mentors actually help you transition into what it is like in the business atmosphere here in the Netherlands. We also, for the full-time MBA, have that career and personal development track that I mentioned earlier, where we really look at developing the 3 core areas of that's important for you to transition into the work environment after your studies, because the full-time MBA students have to give everything up for that 1 year to focus on the MBA. So we do have quite a lot of focus of that. For the online MBA, just an FYI, it is available, the career and personal development track, but we do it more on a personalized case-by-case basis. So depending on your needs, we will tailor it to your, to what you need. We also offer some student competitions for the full-time MBA, often focusing on the sustainable development goals, and students really get the opportunity to work with companies on these specific topics, and they learn to pitch their ideas in a very short 5-minute format. So it's also a very enjoyable, very useful learning experience. So if you are thinking about the full-time MBA, and you're wondering if this is for you, just a summary, it is a 1-year full-time pressure cooker experience. And as I've mentioned, every class, it's this 2-week module. So if you are thinking about this, you would need a student visa if you're not European. We do take care of the student visa process for you, so we'll tell you exactly what you need. And after you've finished studying your MBA, you can actually stay in the Netherlands for a year to look for a job using the orientation year permit. So the orientation year permit will allow you to do internships or travel or work for that whole year that you are in the Netherlands after your studies. So if you are looking for that immersive international experience, and you want to focus purely on your study and not be sidetracked by the stress of work and family, and you want to get to go abroad, have this new experience, just having the time for yourself and the focus on your studies, and you are looking at maybe working in Europe after your studies or changing careers, then the full-time MBA is a really, really good option for you. Right. I think I've done enough talking about the full-time MBA. Alina, I think it's your turn to go over to the online MBA.
Thank you, Hermina. Great. So when it comes to the online MBA, we are talking about a lot more flexibility than the full-time It's basically part-time program. So in the full-time MBA, we had like 2 weeks modules, and in the online MBA, we have 1 month to up to 5 weeks modules. I will tell you a bit more about how the courses are organized. Basically, in the you have classes every Monday and Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Dutch time, and so you do need to be in a good time zone to enroll for this program. Um, why we are doing this format is because we did see a need in the market, especially after the pandemic, to have a bit more interaction during the classes. In the past, we used to have a very good online MBA at your own pace, but now we moved on a bit to more interactive sessions where students can actually have that classroom experience that they were missing in the full-time because they didn't go for a full-time MBA. So one course is has the Zoom session. So one Zoom session is 2 hours. So we are talking about 4 hours per week where you are in class, and then you need to also allocate a bit of extra time per week to prepare for the classes. So we have a lot of readings, like academic journals, videos, and a lot of materials that the lecturers are preparing. So you can you can prepare yourself for the class. And during the classroom, what to expect is a more practical approach. So a lot of discussions, a lot of debates, the students are sharing their own experience and having, relevant feedback on certain topics. So we try to keep it as interactive as possible. Hermina mentioned earlier that you will be the consultant when you join an online MBA, the consultant in your own company, meaning that you can take relevant issues from your job and apply them in the classroom. So you can apply them in the discussions during the class, but also we have a case study assignment and an individual assignment. So as you can see here, you have the first 2 weeks of class, and then you have the midterm assignment, which is 30% of your grade. And then you have 2 more weeks of classes, and you will need to prepare your final individual assignment, which is like the bigger assignment where you apply everything you learn in class and you basically wrap up the course. And that is 70% of your grade. Maybe you've noticed we don't have exams or tests here. It's mainly a full-on practical approach to benefit your professional life. And afterwards, when the course is done, you go on to the next course. So then you have it's also a bit like a pressure cooker, but less intense than the full-time MBA for sure. Hermina, maybe you can go to the next slide. Actually, the next one. Sorry. Just a bit because I wanted to touch upon the profile. So basically, this program is is quite it's quite good for people that have already very busy lives and families, and especially children. We have students in the classroom, with free kids and that are also entrepreneurs and are also trying to keep this work-life balance. And then we have a lot of people that are also traveling, for example, so they are consultants and they need to be able to have the flexibility to log in from everywhere. So this is what, when we say flexibility, this is what the program will actually give you. And financially is also quite cost efficient, mainly because in comparison with the full-time MBA, we do offer installments. We will also touch upon some funding opportunities, so scholarships, but generally the Global Flex Online MBA can offer you the possibility to pay in up to 18 or even 20 installments. So you can arrange a payment plan when you enter the program. So overall, you still have the classroom experience, and you also have like an online platform where that supports your learning. So it's not only about the interaction; it's also about the fact that you can test your knowledge constantly in the online platform. You can find extra materials and extra reading that you can use for your assignment. You can chat with your lecturer in the online platform or your colleagues. So it's you basically get all the support that you need to log in from everywhere and do this program in quite an interactive way, without having the impression that, you know, because you are not on campus, you miss out on the networking opportunity or the class discussions or all those interesting elements that an MBA has. And if we go to the next slide, maybe good to know, in case you are not quite sure which MBA is the right format for you, we do have a tool that can help you. It's basically a quiz. It's a bit of a more detailed quiz, I would say, so it can help you decide between the formats. So we will follow up after this session, and we will send also the link to the quiz to you, but it's also on our website, so you can always go there if you are in doubt, or you can always contact me or one of my colleagues and get personalized advice. We normally do like this type of Zoom sessions. We do CV assessment, so it's just easier when you're not sure to ask us directly. We will be there to inform you properly. Practical information, we arrived at one of the most important parts. So the full-time MBA is 33,000 euros and the Global Flex Online MBA is 28,500. Please note that starting with January 2025, the prices might slightly change. That will also be on our website and so on, but so now we decided that even for the until the end of the year, we will still apply for 2025 the same prices if you finish your application in 2024. Yeah, so just be aware of that. We will also send you like more formal notifications. And we do have scholarships available. We did get a few questions in the chat about this as well. So mainly the scholarships are partial. So for the full-time MBA, you have up to 35% scholarship, and for the Global Flex Online MBA, you can be awarded with up to 20% scholarship. We have a very diverse range of scholarships. They are mainly merit-based, and the criteria that we look for are mainly excellent achievements in academia or your professional experience or and leadership or even your soft skills. So I would encourage you to read more about the scholarship or to send us your CV, and we will advise, depending on your professional background and academic background, to choose a scholarship. Another question we had was if you can combine the scholarships. The answer is yes. You can apply to as many scholarships as possible if you have the right experience for it. The only note is that we do have a cap That is the 35% for full-time MBA and 20% for Global Flex. But other than that, you can choose all the scholarships that you are eligible for, and then you increase your chances, to get the maximum percentages in the end. Great. And then very important also the application process. We do have an online application process, and it's very easy to use. So in the MSM portal, you can already see, if you start the application draft, you can already see what exactly you need to upload and how it goes. Of course, you will get a lot of support from MSM, from the recruiters in this process. So we make sure submitting your documents and preparing your application is a smooth process in the end for you. So let us know if you need help. Some basic files, documents that you need. Of course, your CV needs to be up to date. I would recommend you keeping your CV to maximum 2 pages. That's just a short note. Also, you need, of course, your previous diploma and transcript. For some countries, it might be that you need to legalize to translate those documents, but when in doubt, just ask us and we will look at it together. For many countries, we do need proof of English. That is a hard requirement from the university, but there are a certain exception that we can make. For example, if you studied a bachelor, a master, or a higher education degree in English, then you are exempt from submitting an IELTS or a TOEFL. Otherwise, we will need you will need an English proficiency test. And I would say that the most important part of the application is the motivation letter. So make sure you follow the criteria of the motivation letter. You can see the criteria also in the application. And when in doubt, just ask us, how can I write a motivation letter that is, according to the guidelines. We are happy to help and advise. Then you will also need 2 professional recommendations, and that is very easy to do through the MSM portal. You just need the name and the email, and the references will do an anonymous feedback. It will only take a few minutes, and that is quite easy to organize. You'll also have an application fee of 95 euros when you submit, and then the next step is to invite you for an interview, and after that you will find out from our side if you are admitted in the program or not. Normally it takes between 3 and 4 weeks to go through the full application process. And once you get admitted into the program and you secure your spot in the classroom, so you pay your first part of the tuition fee or your full tuition fee, depending on the program, then we also have some preparatory courses. So normally we would ask for a GMAT or GRE. That is not mandatory with MSM, because we have our own in-house free courses, and you only do those courses after you get admitted. You don't need them when you submit your application. So that also, let's go a bit over the pressure of submitting the application. But of course, if you have a GMAT, we will accept it, and you don't need to do the preparatory courses. Then we do have application deadline. So for the full-time MBA, we have rolling admission, which means that applications that are open have been open since the 7th of October and will stay open until the 21st of November. And then we will have another application period in January, one in March, and in May, and so on. So my advice is to apply as soon as possible, of course, because you also secure your spot in the classroom, but you also can receive more scholarships, so you have more opportunities there. We normally award first come, first serve the scholarship, so it's good if you apply right away, and now you are still on time. We still have the 2024 prices. We still have the full scholarship, all the scholarships available. So make sure to apply if you think one of the programs is the right fit for you. And then for the Global Flex Online MBA, the applications are open as well until the 15th of November. That is for the January intake. So we have 3 intakes for the Global Flex in January, in May, and then September. And then, of course, we have 3 application deadlines for each of the intakes. Yeah, so 15th of July, and then April, and then July again. So make sure to be on time when it comes to the deadlines. We will also send all of this information in your inbox. You can also find this information on the website, and you can also ask me when in doubt. So just let us know what you need. And the full-time MBA also has some additional deadlines, so mainly when it comes to early bird as well. That's something that you will need to calculate. And a very important note, make sure to decide on the scholarships before applying. Make sure to if you decide on for example the early bird, make sure to calculate that time and calculate time to prepare for scholarships before you apply. So that is something you need to prepare, and we can help you prepare as well. Then what do we have next? Of course, if you are still in the let's say research part of your MBA journey, then you need more information, then you can also participate to additional webinars that we have an event. For example, we do have one next week on the 24th of October for the Global Flex Online MBA. It's actually a student panel, so you will meet students that have been through the program since January, and they can give you a lot more information about their experience, why they chose the MBA, and it's a bit less of a commercial event, then you can actually find out from the students themselves what they think about the program. Then we have another webinar in case you still want to come on campus, but maybe you are in doubt between the full-time MBA and the Master in Management. Maybe you have, less work experience, and you want to go for a Master instead of an MBA. Then you can join the webinar that touches upon the similarities and differences between full-time MBA and Master in Management. That is also an option. Just let us know. The events are on the website. You can always register or contact us. And I was talking a lot about different ways in how to get in touch with us. So of course we do have like standard email. We even have work WhatsApp, so we can chat when you want to talk about a certain program. So normally the recruiters are the one to, let's say, advise in the whole application process until you submit your application. So that is me. Vessel is here with us today, and Inka as well. She's not here, but she's the recruiter for the full-time MBA. So this is we have a whole team that is that wants to help you in the application process. And after you submit your application, we have the admissions team, so Steph and Carlo, and then they will make sure everything runs smoothly until you start the program. And for the full-time MBA, you are even on campus, so even with the visa part, they will make sure to facilitate that. There is the possibility to even talk to our alumni. We have a link on our website, and we will send it in our follow-up, where you can chat with our former students. But in case, let's say you want to talk about with somebody from your own country, or with a specific profile from a different industry, just let us know. We can look in our alumni network, and we can definitely connect you with that person. Yeah, MSM has a 50,000 alumni network, so it's worldwide. It's quite big. We are happy to connect you with this with our students. Then make make sure to follow us. If you have any curiosities about MSM, we have a lot of things online, especially on our YouTube channel, like master classes and other webinars and so on. So then that is always interesting. And I think we are now at the Q&A part. Yes. All right. Then let's see what was happening in the Q&A chat. I think there were
Yep.
some questions that we said we will take live. The first question is, and Hermina, I will address this to you.
Okay.
Is if we do an online MBA, will we visit the school for the graduation ceremony, or will it still be online?
Okay, so you are definitely welcome to join the graduation, but you don't have to. We understand sometimes it's a bit complicated. And so we do a online recording, a live that you can watch it online. But no, otherwise, if you want to come on stage and get the certificate yourself and be in the photos, then you have to come to MSM for the graduation. But you don't have to. It's not a compulsory.
Great. Then we have one from Shreya. Do you expect the potential students to have a background in statistics, or what other quantitative subjects?
Okay, good question. We actually want students to come from a whole lot of different backgrounds. So that's also when I was talking about diversity, it's not just nationalities, it's also backgrounds. So that in your class, you'll be in class with IT skilled people, you'll be in class with engineers, with sales and marketing people, with HR people, with professors, even healthcare, and then also, of course, the lawyers. So the whole point is from an MBA, I mean, management and business is everywhere in the world, in every field, in every domain. So the whole point from the MBA is actually to learn also from one another. And if you're only in a class with people just with an engineering background, obviously those perspectives are going to be much less broad and interesting than when you are in a class with a whole lot of different backgrounds. So that's why we aim so much to focus on getting a very diverse cohort for every program. So that being said, we do know obviously that there are some courses in the curriculum that have, that have certain requirements or certain knowledge to be able to actually successfully complete them. And when Alina was talking about the leveling courses or the GMAT, that's actually because of that we do that. So the GMAT is the standardized test that you can do for any business school. But at MSM, we know that not everyone has access to the GMAT test. It takes a lot of preparation, costs a lot of money, and that's why we've actually created the leveling courses. And the leveling courses, it's 5 courses. One is in finance. It's online courses. It's free of charge for you, but we only send you the link once you've paid your first installment to actually join the program. So it's finance, accounting, statistics, and economics. So those are the 4 hard skill courses that give you the background in those topics, the jargon. And even if you have a finance background, you will still need to do those courses just to make sure everyone has the same foundation when they start the program. And the 5th course is actually in academic writing because it is a university. There is a certain academic rigor required, and it's to refresh your knowledge or teach you about APA referencing, which is going to be very important in the studies, as well as plagiarism and all of those things. So those are the 5 courses that you do in your own time. before the start of the semester at MSM, to make sure that if you don't have knowledge in statistics and things like that before starting the program, that at least you have some new background on that. So hopefully that answered that question.
Great. Thank you, Hermina. We did have a question from Michaela earlier in the session. So if this program is a STEM MBA program.
No, it's not a specialized STEM program. I know that's this new fashion that's popping up where I've seen it a bit in America where they call it a STEM MBA. We rather have an MBA with specializations, and you can specialize in accounting and finance, which is slowly going in that direction, but it's not. We rather have specializations than an MBA just focusing on STEM. So that's the difference.
Yeah, great. And Karen had one question regarding the specialization. So more specifically, the global economy specialization and sustainable business. If we also cover ESG metrics and reporting in this, the one,
Yeah.
or is it only covered in sustainable finance?
To be honest, we'd have to look into the actual, because on our website, you can actually, if you click on it in the summer school section, you'll see a little bit more information about the courses that or the topics that are covered as part of that. I don't know it off by heart. The information is there on our website, but we also actually have a more in-depth curriculum summary that we can share. So in that case, Karen, it would be best to reach out to Alina, and she can then follow up with you and then check that out and see what would be the best specialization interest for you. However, that being said, I do want to reassure everyone with the specialization, because it is quite a big decision. Since I said it takes quite a big part of your MBA, but it is something that you can change still before the actual start of the specialization. So although we ask you when you create your application to make a choice for what you think will be your specialization, we do give you time once you started your MBA to change that. If you realize once you started the MBA, I never realized that I find digital economy really interesting and actually want to go into that direction rather, well, then that's possible. So it's not set in stone once you make your application in one thing. You can still change that if necessary.
Great. Then we also have a raised hand.
Yeah, I'm not sure though
if it were,
yeah, I would say rather type the question. It might be
yeah.
safer.
So David, maybe you can type the question in the Q&A chat, and we can make sure to answer it. Otherwise, just contact us afterwards. We will also send you all the details on my email address as well, and we are happy to have a call after the session. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the time as well.
Yes,
So
exactly. What I just wanted to say is we do travel a lot to various countries. A lot of the countries I saw that are present today, we are there sometimes. So don't hesitate to check out if we are in your area. We can come say hello, drink a coffee, and talk to you in person more about the program. Also for the Dutch colleagues that connected today, don't hesitate to connect. We can take the train through to Amsterdam. It's super easy. So voila.
We got a last minute question.
Yes.
Do we have time, Hermina?
Well, the ones that can't stay anymore, they're very welcome to log off, and they'll receive the recording. So let's take Praveen's question. Yes.
Yeah. So how are the employment opportunities after MBA as a recession has impacted the economy around the world?
Okay. Praveen, that is a very good question. Unfortunately, I don't have a one size fits all answer. I also don't have a crystal ball to say how it's going to be by the time you finish your MBA, because it's changing so fast. that is really difficult to predict what it will look like. In the beginning of the presentation, however, I did show a slide just showing that in the Netherlands, the job market actually is still really good. That there are still at this moment more jobs available than people. And so in general, that's a good sign. That means the economy is still doing well. That being said, what always fascinates me, and that's why it's so difficult to explain this, is that every year is a bit different. So 2 years ago, for example, our students finish studying with a background in supply chain, for example, did really well in the job markets. They were like immediately, they got their jobs way before they were finished. And these last 2 years, actually, it's the people with a background in finance and accounting that have done exceptionally well, while in the past, they actually struggled quite a lot to find the jobs. So it's not only the market itself, it's also your background and depending on the needs at that moment in that background. So it does fluctuate a lot. But in general, to give you a statistical answer, at the beginning of the year, when we ask our students, about 90% of them actually want to stay in the Netherlands after they finish. I'm talking about the full-time MBA, of course. And by the end, I'd say about 87% of them actually stay in the Netherlands with a job in the Netherlands. Some take much quicker, some takes a bit longer, but normally within the 6 months after their studies, the students have all found a job in the Netherlands, the ones that wanted to. So that's more or less, but like I said, each year is a bit different. At the moment, it seems that the Netherlands is still relatively stable, though.
Great. Karen, I will follow up. I mark down all your questions, and maybe good if we connect afterwards. I can also double check about the specific expertise track with our program director as well, and let you know what. Okay, I think.
I just want to, regarding her question, just one little thing.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely.
if you do the Global Flex path and you want to do online the expertise track there or the specialization, then indeed the only option is the sustainable business. But if you want to come on campus, then you have all the other options as well. So it's just it's the online one, that's the sustainable business. Perfect.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you for listening to us. Like we said, it was a very brief overview of the two programs. There's so much more we can say, and that's why we prefer to now go into one-on-one sessions with you. You know, if you are interested, if you want to know more, don't hesitate to reach out. You'll have our contact details when we in the follow-up email, and we can then have a call with you or a Zoom session or whatever to just really go into more detail. So thank you everyone for joining and have a really good day for the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Thank you, everyone.